So, what's your name?
My name is Samantha, and I'm the CEO and founder of Arise Mental Health.
Great. And you are here today or this weekend for the Coach Mom Showcase.
Yes, I
and
am.
what's the topic that you're doing on your session?
So I'm talking about keeping your head up. So, I know a lot of youth go through a lot of mental health, conditions and concerns, and sometimes they don't have the proper, coping tools to kind of deal with it. So the whole point, the whole gist of the workshop is to help them, be above their mental health, to kind of rise above that, and to also bring people along with them as well.
Great. And when we had the previous session, you just talked about a little bit more about supporting athletes, student athletes, on the court or off the court, how they can cope with it.
Yes.
We talked about some different, keywords to help us understand what could be triggers and things like that. And some of the kids were also talking about their emotions and things. So for kids that will be watching this, that, may be going into a very tough game, facing a very tough opponent, and some things are coming from the adult telling them. What are some of the coping mechanisms that you can tell them to help them maintain that composure, to be able to understand how they can be in the right mind frame to be able to execute their game that they best know how to?
Well, it's important to be, in tune with your body, right? So understanding what's going on with yourself. So the first thing is to actually identify what's going on. So you're feeling anxious. Hey, I noticed that I'm experiencing, sweaty palms. I'm experiencing, my heart's being, quite fast. And then from there, having proper coping tools that help you kind of, be above the game in that sense. Tools to help you, regulate your emotions. Tools to help you kind of understand, what, I'm experiencing a very stressful, situation. What can I use? So it could be, breathing exercises, it could be yoga, it could be writing your thoughts down, so journaling, right? That really helps, seeing your thoughts on paper, because then you can see where you're, putting your, most of your energy into, right? Whether it's positive thoughts or negative thoughts. Talking to friends, being around people that are, very positive and help you stay on a more healthier note. Basketball, right? Sports, physical activities, swimming, bowling, kayaking, just things that really make you feel great. And not just more of a distraction, which is what people have, but a tool that helps you alleviate that stress. That's the main thing, in that sense. So having those tools are important.
Awesome. And for us parents, what are some things that we can be mindful of in understanding what could be causing our kids or triggering them, whether they be reclusive or exclusive, like whether they internalize it in and it doesn't come out on the game, or they just so that we can be like, this is my kid, this is not my kid, something is off based on what we say or do. What are some things that we can, tools that we can use so it becomes a unity of a family trying to help this child?
So definitely educate yourself. I've been saying that for a long time. Educate yourself. YouTube is the best. YouTube should be your best friend, right? Just Google things, signs and symptoms of anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. There's 200 of them. So I guess I'm just in that sense taking your own time. The most important thing is understanding the signs and the symptoms. What does it look like? So what does anxiety looks like? So not to say, okay, you've noticed for the past couple of months your son or daughter has been, kind of agitated, not sleeping as much. Okay, you know what? It could be anxiety. Let's kind of, figure things out, doing your own assessment, and then following up with them, asking the right questions. Not saying, I never say you've been angry, but finding ways where you're supportive, you're loving, but you're still kind of concerned. And from there, sharing resources with them. Tools in a very simple way but loving way, because a lot of the times they themselves know sometimes that they're struggling and they want that love and care, right? Or sometimes they don't know, and it's how you approach them that can cause more trauma, and that leads down just a very deep rabbit hole. Exactly. So asking the right questions, and then again having the proper tools. I think parents for the most part have tools which is but they don't have the right tools sometimes, or their tools need to be sharpened a little bit. So I think doing things in love and care and support is helpful, because a lot of the times the things that parents say damages the kids a bit more than sometimes the outside world, right? So it's important that parents are aware of the words that they're using, their body language, how they approach them, right? Time of the month for certain girls. So just knowing when and how to approach them in a way that they feel comfortable and they know that you're also supporting them, at the same time.
I agree. And for boys particularly, because today we're here for the boys aspect of it. it's harder for the male side to open up about their emotions, and we talk about some of the stigmas around it. In the basketball world, it's definitely heavily male dominated. Coaches, refs, parents, coaches, like everything on that side of it. What are some other things that you feel that we can certain languages that we can use that will make them more comfortable, so it's not looked at in a negative way?
Yeah. So again, males are shown in a certain way, right? Toughen up, things of that sort. So not using those certain, words and jargons that, society has put over their heads, where they feel like, okay, if I'm crying, that means I'm weak. Reminding them that, everybody cries. We all have emotions. And I think for the most part, when males feel that, hey, if I'm crying, it's okay, they tend to be a bit more open about just certain things that that they're going through, understanding what your child is going through at the same time. So having conversations, checking in sometimes, right? If you find that they're in the room for a couple hours, check in just to see how they're doing. Ask about their day, but be genuine about it. Don't just ask to ask. Ask them, in that sense. Also, let them know, hey, I've noticed, for the past couple of days, you've been kind of sad. Is everything okay? How can I support you? Because clearly, if they're not doing well, clearly something is going on. So asking the right questions, how can I support you, is really, really key. Because again, people get attached to words, and then that leads them to other things. So asking the right questions, having the proper support where they feel loved at the same time, but also being able to enter their world without having your own judgments is really, really key.
It's hard on the parents, but it's key.
You're right. Preconceived thoughts can do a lot, but just being open and not putting more pressure because they're your kid. Like sometimes we can be a bit more softer on other kids, but our own are much more tougher because it's like, how did I birth them? Yes, and they're going through things that we didn't go through, but trying to have a very open and clear mind helps.
Good. Thank you so much. And where can we find you? Where are you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Arise Mental Health. My email is there, and my website is there, which is www.arisementalhealth.com. And you can follow me. If you have any questions, definitely shoot me a DM, and I will be more than happy to.
We will, and I would definitely tag you.
Thank you.